Tuesday, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mass Appeal. I'm Seth Supman.
I'm Ashley Cole. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And nice to have you back, Seth.
I had a great weekend, but it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Let's start. Let's cook. I'm hungry.
Okay, sounds good to me.
It's named, quote, the great place to eat in Great Barrington by, just a little newspaper called the New York Times.
And, quote, where to eat by the Boston Globe, Castle Street Cafe in Great Barrington. It's a hidden gem in the Berkshires. Here to tell us all about his book, Make Blueberry Cobbler, and to just hang with us.
Just hang. We're hanging.
Chef Michael Ballin from Castle Street Cafe.
Great to be here this morning.
Now, you're somewhat of a Renaissance man because you're a restaurant owner, you cook, and you have these two books out. You want to talk a little bit about these books
Yes,
first?
the first book came out a few years ago, and it's pretty much a traditional, straightforward cookbook. But as food has become more important in our lives and on TV and on social media, the second book is really about what it's like to be a chef and run a restaurant. And it does have some recipes, including this recipe for blueberry cobbler, but it's not really a cookbook. And I picked this recipe to make today for two reasons. It's the middle of August, blueberries are in season everywhere, and blueberries are sort of what inspired me to become a chef, because the summer I lived in Acadia National Park in Maine. There were wild blueberries growing all over the place, and I came back to my house with lots of blueberries, and I just had to start making blueberry desserts, and it was just the greatest experience. So different people have, and different chefs have written about what inspired them to become a chef. For me, it was wild blueberries. And you could go to the store and buy blueberries, but one of the things I really try and inspire people to do is get in touch and get a little closer with the food that they eat. So all around New England, the Pioneer Valley, the Berkshires, there's wild blueberries growing everywhere. Get out, bend down, squat, get some exercise, bring a plastic bag along with you, and pick some blueberries. These are from the Berry Patch, which is actually just across the border in New York State, but they're really fantastic organic berries. And the recipe we're going to make today is a lot easier than making pie, because the cobbler part on top doesn't require rolling out dough like blueberry pie.
You can't mess it up.
Very easy to do.
Now, pick your own is really the way to go. Not only is it fun for the whole family, but you're right, there is something to picking your own fruit or vegetables or something from your garden and eating it. It's a sense of satisfaction.
Absolutely, and after blueberry season ends, it's going to be apple season all over New England. And to me, there's just nothing better than going out to a local orchard, picking some apples, coming back, making applesauce or apple pie or apple turnover or whatever it is, or just eating them plain. But, that experience and the connection that people have with the farm and the land is totally different from going to a giant supermarket and just taking bags of pre-bagged fruit.
Well, let's show people what we can make with some homegrown blueberries.
So this is a very simple recipe. I'm going to take half these berries and just sort of pick out some of the natural organic leaves.
It's rustic, right? They came right from the farm. I'm going to try one.
In worst case scenario, eat a leaf. I'm trying one too. Not a blueberry guy mostly.
Oh, I love blueberries.
I'm going to add some sugar.
How much of it? About a cup?
That's about a little over a cup and a quarter. I'm going to add just a dash of cinnamon, and I'm going to take a lemon zest.
Now, no lemon juice, just the lemon zest.
Just the zest. This is one of those microplane things, and I don't even really want the whole lemon because it will get too lemony. Really, almost half a lemon is enough.
Just kind of complements the blueberry well.
It does. And I'm going to give this just a very small pinch of nutmeg.
Oh, you can
because
smell that zest
nutmeg,
from here.
yes, it's very aromatic. The zest has actually so much more flavor than the juice. And just a very small pinch of nutmeg. I'm going to add some water, because what we're going to do is make a kind of cooked blueberry, for lack of a better word, goo.
Don't let it throw you.
I can make goo.
It's the most delicious goo you'll ever have.
And then I'm going to take a little bit of cornstarch, which has to be dissolved in cold water first, and that's going to thicken this whole stuff.
Now, Michael, I never understood that. So you have to do that separately and create that slurry.
Yes, because if you add cornstarch to hot liquid, it doesn't really dissolve the right way.
Oh. And then you want to take a potato masher and mash your blueberries?
Well, since we're talking about sort of organic and old-fashioned here.
Do-it-yourself kind of thing.
Right.
Because people, so if they need to or want to, they can use a food processor. But yeah, this gets you in a little touch with it.
This will do the whole thing here.
I love how you just throw everything in one pan. This is right up my alley so far. And then you mash it all up. Now, how do you know when the cornstarch is ready to
Well,
add?
it's going to, you add it at the beginning before the mix heats up.
Oh, okay.
And we're just kind of.
And roughly how long do you want this to
Just
simmer
a couple
for?
minutes here, and I'm going to show you how simple the topping is.
Okay.
I'm going to take a cup of flour and about 3/4 of a cup of sugar.
Now, for me, I grew up on apple pie, so I put brown sugar and cinnamon and everything. Could you substitute a little brown sugar if you
You
wanted?
could. I don't think it would be really as good.
Okay.
I'm going
One
to add a
egg.
whole egg.
And then we're whisking. Hand whisking.
Hand whisking.
I like hand whisking. I can get into this.
Now you don't have to clean a whisk, which I find is a hard thing to clean.
It's going
Is
to
it
make
just
this
me?
kind of.
Nooks and crannies.
So many nooks
So
and
many
crannies.
nooks and
Okay,
crannies in this.
that's it.
No, and there's a
No?
little tiny bit of baking powder here, which I'm going to put in.
Okay. Perfect.
Well, you know what we can do? We can
Easy.
check in with you in a little bit, and we can talk about the restaurant some more.
That'd be great.
All right, well, we'll check in a little bit.
Smell. Welcome back to Mass Appeal. We're back with Chef Michael Ballin from Castle Street Cafe in Great Barrington. We're finishing up this warm blueberry cobbler, which is really what inspired you to become a chef, right?
That is, and what we have here is the cooked blueberry sauce, which you could, if you wanted to skip the pastry part, just put this right on vanilla ice cream. But a lot of cooking is also about a contrast in textures and just consistency. So in addition to the cooked blueberries, I have some whole blueberries here. I just want to demonstrate just how easy this is, because now we have this really yummy, soupy blueberry mix.
What a good idea to mix it. And you actually let me sneak a taste. I could eat it just like it's soup.
You can eat it just like this. If you're impatient and don't have the time for pastry, you can just dump it on vanilla ice cream.
That was the really easy pastry that you just mixed
That
everything
was
right
really
together.
quickly. I'm just going to take some of this stuff
And you just crumble it
and
right
just
on
crumble
top?
it up. There's no rolling out of pie dough.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And it's
So
just kind of
easy.
cash. And then
Yep.
I have a little melted butter. And we're going to stick this in the oven.
Oh.
It needs about 10-15 minutes in the oven. And that is it.
That's ready to go in the
We're
oven?
ready it is.
What temperature?
350, it's already set.
10 and then 10-15 minutes and it's done?
It is.
What a great dessert. Perfect. Or a meal, if you want to have it as,
That's
as a
right.
meal. So Castle Street Cafe, you're in Great Barrington in the beautiful Berkshires. Tell us about the restaurant.
Well, we're in the heart of downtown Great Barrington, right next to the great old Mahawi Theater. And this past week, we've had a combination of Joshua Redmond, Fran Lebowitz, and Michael Feinstein at the Mahawi. So it's a destination location, Annie DeFranco, or some really great entertainers. And there's a dynamic to being a restaurant in the theater district where people are going out for the night and going out for a show and having live jazz at Castle Street. And those are some of the things that I write about in the book. I also took some time to interview and profile some of the small local farmers who I do business with, and to try and give people an idea about where chefs get ideas to make things from. And a farmer calls you up and says, we have these beautiful squash blossoms to make fried zucchini blossoms with, and it may not be something I was thinking of making, but it puts you in touch with the availability of produce and just makes the cuisine fresher.
So interesting, that relationship and how it works, how a lot of what you make is based on what the farmers are growing and what they have in abundance.
And it's a small enough area that people know each other. I like the idea of knowing who baked my bread and who made my goat cheese and who grew my tomatoes. You know, so often the experience for people shopping in big supermarkets is, I mean, who knows where this stuff came from America, shipped across the world. But when you deal locally with farmers, you know exactly where your food comes from, and I think that's very comforting.
Of course, and you're supporting your local economy as well. And you
Absolutely.
wrote a book all about life as a chef, really from your eyes, your perspective. And so that's available for people to get, as well as the Castle Street Cookbook.
And you can get it on our website, which is castlestreetcafe.com. You can get it at Amazon, and it gives people an idea about what really goes on behind the scenes of the restaurant. And it's not quite as racy as Anthony Bourdain, but I think it's a
little more thoughtful.
Yes, and you know, I think it's time for everyone to make a little day trip to the Berkshires, go out to
Absolutely.
eat, see a show, and it's not far away at all, and it's a beautiful place to go. So thank you so much, Chef Michael,
Thank
for
you.
being here. Can't wait to try your blueberry cobbler.
Right.
And to make a reservation, you can call 413-528-5244. You can also visit them online, castlestreetcafe.com, for more information.